The only way to be truly free is to let your passions enslave you. That's one of Quentin Tarantino's philosophies. Now, if you don't know who Quentin Tarantino is, you can search it up. He's a very good, famous movie director, and this philosophy is something that I've come to understand and feel more of because of the short film that I did. This is behind the scenes of how we made the short film, the student film. Are you okay from the beginning to the end? So obviously, first things first, this was a student film where we had to shoot as a students, as yeah. So how we decided to do this was everyone was going to have a different role in the group. I mean, it's a simple film about depression, 5 minutes maximum. The script wise, we dedicated the script to Deborah, and like the script wise, we dedicated the script to Tesh and Mali, who were like the original writers. But obviously, with time, there's a lot of miscommunication that happened. Deborah ended up joining in, and Carl ended up joining on the script as well. Just so that the script has more fluidity, because I feel like the more hands-on, the more ideas, the more people we have working on the script, the better the script turned out to be. And it's a thing of like, if the script turned out to be bad, we would all be held accountable because we have more people involved now. So obviously, the writers came up with the story. We all contributed to like how the story should go and how they should transition from one character to another. It wasn't very easy, but then we still made it work. So the writers wrote the script. When I looked at the script, I'm like, this script is fine, it's fantastic, we can actually do it. Now, I was responsible for directing the film. I was responsible for editing the film. And I was basically the DP as well, because most of the stuff with camera angles, like, it made sense since I was like the most knowledgeable in the group at that time. So I was like, no, I'll take the role of editing because I already edit most of my TikToks and Facebooks and everything that I do on social media. Like, no, I'll take the role of editing. As much as Skeleto actually wanted to edit, I saw that would have a problem of transferring videos. The initial plan was for me to edit a small part, like a big portion, and then my friend Skeleto would edit another portion, but then the communication of transferring files just seemed a bit too much, so we decided to let that go, and then I'll edit the whole film. And this film was shot and edited everything on a mobile device. When it came to pre-production, it was very simple. All of us were going to be actors in this whole thing. No matter what you're doing, you're going to get a small role. Because I actually had two roles. I was a lecturer who appeared for like 2 seconds, and then I was also the other guy with a lot of hair, the edgy kid. So as much as I didn't have dialogue, I feel like I played my part, and everyone else who acted and who was an extra in the short film, they played their part very well. It's a thing of like, unfortunately, the inexperience of acting, it does show, because most of us, this was like a first time acting thing for other people. It was a first time doing a voiceover for other people. Like, the inexperience shows a lot, but as students, we tried to make it work, and as the editor, I tried to use what I had, the voiceovers that I had, the clips that I had. I tried to make it work. Now, location-wise, obviously, because the thing of I stay far, I don't stay in Joburg. I'm actually the odd one out who doesn't stay in Joburg, and that led to a lot of difficulties. We couldn't shoot at night, and the original idea was to shoot it in one day, but it ended up becoming a 2-day shoot due to the fact that when we shot the first day, everyone was exhausted. People thought shooting and acting is easy, but it's not easy. There's constant yelling, there's constant camera movement, there's a lot of things that happen in a short amount of time, which really got overwhelming so fast. So we ended up extending the shoot to becoming 2 days, which was not the original idea. And personally, a lot of people didn't like that. They wanted to do the shoot in 1 day and be finished at it. Gear-wise, we had the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the iPhone 14, and an iPhone 12. We had 3 iPhones, good quality, which I kind of struggled with when I was editing because they have different color space, and it was so annoying. It's very visible in the transition from the first lady, from Daniela's scene to Layla's scene. You can see it because the first scenes were shot on the iPhone 14, then the other scenes were shot on the iPhone 16. And because we did not shoot in sequence, no matter no matter how hard we try to actually shoot in sequence, it's not very easy. Because now it's a thing of like, okay, we want to shoot the first scene according to the script. We couldn't do that because the actor who was supposed to be there in the first scene, she was nowhere to be found, and which led to other problems. Like, okay, fine, we're gonna do the second scene, and then we're gonna come back to the, like, it was a big mess, but we tried to make it work. So we shot out of sequence. We just shot with whatever we had, whoever who was available at that time, and then when editing, I just had to put the clips above and try to make it work. Now, obviously, the biggest limitation that we had when we were shooting this was the fact that it had to be shot on mobile. It had to be edited on mobile. And on my side, I use a Samsung S21 Plus. I had to edit on this phone, which can be very, very space limited. And so I had to edit on my Samsung S21, which tends to overheat when I'm editing a lot of files. So the biggest limitation that we had was location. We were not flexible in a way of we can't shoot where we want to shoot because of transportation. Other people don't have money to take out that transportation.
That's how are we switching like this? Because they have to be. The closer they are, the more they can go like.
How is switching? That's why you have many camera angles. We're gonna use that for like a vantage point up there. Then we're gonna have like the main camera here. Where's my phone? Let me properly plan this. Other people don't have money to buy food. One thing that we actually struggled with in the eating scene, we actually had to make ends meet to actually buy the food for the eating scene. It was so embarrassing on the day of the shoot. We're like, okay, we're about to shoot the eating disorder scene, but we don't have food. It doesn't make sense. It was so weird. So obviously the group ended up making ends meet so we can actually have food for the eating disorder scene. Because how can you have eating disorder but then there's no food? It didn't make sense. So that's one of the challenges we faced. 2, communication is really bad. Like, I don't know. I get that everyone has different priorities and the modules that they're doing. But the thing of like when we all agree to shoot, like, I don't know, the communication was bad. We had people fighting, with people arguing. There's a lot of tension, and it made me realize that if you're gonna actually do a film or get into film, you should actually do it with people who are passionate to do this and not just anyone and everyone. Because with me, it was the thing of I was willing to sacrifice my other modules just to make this sure that this film was perfect. But I don't know if my co-workers, my actors were actually in the mood to do this. So that's definitely one thing I realized. Deborah was actually, in the beginning, was shouting at everyone saying, be on time, pull up, and it was just a big mess, but we tried to make it work. Now, when it came to production, this was actually my favorite part. After the script was done, everything was cool. I was actually happy. This was my favorite part because the thing of like, now we're actually shooting something. Now we're actually doing the hard work. Okay, maybe not the hard work because the writers did the hard work mostly. They came up with the story and how the stories would like transition from one person to another. I'm happy. But the production phase, this was definitely my favorite part because I was the director. And when it came to directing, I was so happy. So basically, as the director, and I knew the most about camera angles, I actually had to be the one who was holding the camera most of the time. Obviously, Keletso, my good friend, she is actually another videographer. So she would help me with because we had cam A, cam B, and cam C. Cam A, I was mainly with the main cam because the main angle I had to like see how I envision it with the script is how I wanted it to look. So I was holding the camera most of the time, cam A. Cam B would be optional shots, which would be dialogue shots or scenes where like multiple people are talking. Keletso was the one who was holding the camera, and yeah, I feel like she did a good job of capturing, especially the one scene where like she captures Kyle, the other guy who talks in the scene where he says all he did was that, right? Keletso really captured that well, and I was really happy. There's a lot of mistakes that happened. So the actual first time we shot that, right? The first shot we took in the cafeteria or the student center, such a funny mistake was Keletso and I was shooting the actors coming my way, and Keletso was directly behind right? So I'm shooting the guys coming this side, and I'm walking. Kelly is also behind. She's also walking. Just to realize, as soon as I said cut, when I reviewed the video, I realized I'm in her shot, holding the camera, and I was also in her shot when she was recording. I was like, oh my god, because we actually wanted to get 2 separate shots at the same time, but we realized it didn't work, so we had to actually redo the scene multiple times. And most of the scenes these guys saw were done multiple times. With me, I like to have maybe minimum of 3-4 takes before I can say, yeah, we're done with this, let's move to the next one. So it just gives me more options and a variety of things that could happen, right? And then obviously there's the voiceovers. The voiceovers were not done on the same day. I'm glad the voiceovers were the simplest thing to do. All I had to do was ask the actors in their free time to make a voiceover and send it over to me on WhatsApp, and which I had to like extract and then copy that into the video editor. Kind of simple stuff, but then that was very nice. Then editing wise, I've been editing for a while now. I actually have another short film that I edited. What I do not like when it comes to editing is color grading. I am by far not the best colorist. I hate coloring. Maybe I'm color blind or anything, but sometimes my saturation may be a bit too high. My film may look a bit too orange. I hate color grading, but for the pacing and the editing of the film, everything was going well. Everything was going smooth. I mean, it's editing. When you've been doing it for a long time, I feel like you just gotta get used to it, no matter what software you're using. Obviously, I had to use CapCut because it's a free mobile editing app. Well, most of the features are free. I mean, I wasn't doing anything complicated. I didn't have any fancy whooshy. I didn't have any fancy transitions that need you to pay. So I was kinda okay with that. Now, the best shots for me were the shots that were done in the bathroom. Pause. But the shots in the bathroom, those were the best, because the mirror, of having the character face the mirror and then the camera's not there, that was like, for me, that was just fantastic. I was so happy when I actually did the other scene. And the best part for me was when I took the scene of the depressed guy and he was in the bathroom, and then you can see the light on his face. So actual trick that I actually came up with. I mean, I'm not the first person to do this, but using the resources that we had, we couldn't. I didn't have access to like any big fancy lights like the Godox or. So we actually took a phone. We took a phone and we took a toilet paper, the empty one, like the cone. Is it the cone? We took that. We put a flashlight in. And that way we could control. Because with the flashlight, the light spreads everywhere, and we didn't want that. So it was like just bouncing everywhere on the character's face. What I actually had to do was take the toilet paper and flash. That way, like the lighting is more controlled, and it would beam straight on his face. And that shot came so crisp and beautiful. I was amazed. I was like, I did this. Obviously, I'm not the first person to do this, but what I love about filmmaking is the ability to just use the resources that you have. You don't have access to fancy gears. Try to play around your environment, see what you can get. And it was a bathroom scene, and the toilet paper thing was just there. So, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this behind the scenes of how we made the student film Are You Okay? I'd like to thank all the people who contributed, the actors, the directors, the producers, all my friends, truly. You guys were such an amazing help. I know I was shouting at you guys, and I did upset some of you guys. But I was just trying to push you guys to be better in doing something. And yeah, I'm really glad. If you haven't seen the short film, Are You Okay? Go watch it. Go watch the short film. It's a really good short film. I understand it's a student film, so many people might critique it on the level of Hollywood movies and all that stuff. And sometimes critique is good, but sometimes comparison is a thief of joy. This is our first student film, my first student film as a director. I've directed this and I actually played a role, so I actually want to improve a lot, because I see that there's actually a lot of room, a lot of room. The space to improve is actually a lot. I need to improve a lot on a lot of things. As a director, how I approach actors, as a video editor, how I edit videos and pace and tone, as a videographer, the camera angles, I need to understand these things. Unfortunately, we didn't have much in lighting, so I don't have experience with lighting that much, but hopefully soon I start doing more projects with where I can like actually improve my skill. If I had to choose the type of director I am, I would definitely say I'm the type of director who also records his stuff and also wants to be involved in the editing. Not the director who wants to work with actors, because with actors, I don't want to be shouting at people and just rubbing people's elbows in the wrong way. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. If you haven't seen the film, there's a link in the description below. Make sure you go check it out. Comment. I'm actually curious to hear your genuine opinions and how I can improve as a director, actor, and all the above. Thank you.